going to focus on Chelsea against Burnley in this one. And we've seen Chelsea drop points at home in games that they should be winning so far this season. Leeds, Bournemouth, and a couple others as well. And they're 1-0 up against a side that are second bottom of the table. They then go down to 10 men and can't see the game out. It finishes Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. What did you make of the game overall, Stevie? And who's to blame from a Chelsea perspective that they didn't end up getting the 3 points when they had the lead since the 4th minute?
Well, I'll start with your last question, and it's quite a simple answer. It's Fofana. You know, if Fofana doesn't get sent off, then Chelsea wins this game. At the end of the day, Chelsea's biggest problem was that they didn't score a second goal. They completely and utterly and totally dominated this game up until Fofana got sent off. They didn't really create an awful lot of chances. They scored after 3 minutes, and you thought, okay, this is going to be a great exercise in attacking football, creating chances, and it's going to be a comfortable win. But it just didn't turn out that way. They really didn't create too many clear chances. They had all the ball. I think Cole Palmer had an opportunity halfway through the first half when he was through on his own with the keeper to beat and actually hit the keeper. But really, we're talking about a Chelsea side, although they dominated with possession, didn't create any clear chances. I should mention the first goal, actually, because it really was a fantastic goal. It started in the edge of the box with Fofana, little ball to Caicedo. Caicedo with just a world-class pass, splitting the defence open. Neto in behind, first time ball across, and João Pedro scrambled it over the line. I mean, 4 passes from the top of the box and the ball's in the back of the net. Fantastic goal. And as I said, I thought it was the start of what we were going to be watching for the rest of the game, but no. Possession, nothing much else. And then the game changed when Fofana gets sent off in the 75th minute.
What was the reason why Chelsea couldn't convert their possession into better chances? Do they overplay?
I think we've got to give Burnley a bit of credit. Defensively, they didn't give them a lot. Cole Palmer, 3, 4, 5 occasions was in the box trying to wriggle free, trying to pick a pass, but either the pass, there really wasn't much of a gap for it, or as I said, Burnley just defended it well. They managed to get a challenge in. They managed to get a couple of blocks on strikes. You know, just that last ball is what was missing today for Chelsea. The play from box to box was slick. Not as quick as I would have liked it, but still they got up to the final third with ease for the majority of the game. But just in that final third, Burnley closed them down well, and that final piece was missing. Whether it was a delayed pass or too much weight on the pass, just that last piece wasn't there today for Chelsea. But at the same time, without Fofana getting sent off, in my opinion, they would still have comfortably won this game 1-0. But he did get sent off, and after that, it was backs to the wall. Burnley put on some big guys and put the ball in the Chelsea box and made them ask questions. And quite frankly, Bryn Larsen, with the last header of the game, could have and should have made it 2-1 to Burnley. Now, it wouldn't have been what they deserved, but it should have been 2-1 for Burnley.
The headline's clearly Chelsea dropping points, but I'm glad you picked up that Burnley deserve credit for that. We're starting to see the teams at the foot of the table with nothing to lose. Wolves 2-0 down against Arsenal, managed to get a point. Burnley pushed everything at Chelsea in the last 50 minutes after Fofana was sent off. They've got 19 points. They're 8 points from safety. They've also played a game more than Forest. But I suppose it's games like this, anything you get is a bonus, and you've got to do your business, get your 3 points against the teams in the lower half, and that's what they need to do between now and the end of the season. But is it too late?
I think it probably is. You know, for me, Chelsea had a good run of games to pick up maximum points, and they almost did it. You know, they played West Ham, they played Crystal Palace, they played Burnley today, they played Wolves, and I was expecting them to get maximum points, and they almost did, apart from today. And I thought the real test was going to be the next two coming up. The next one for Chelsea is Arsenal. So, yeah, I think if there was any hopes that anybody had that Chelsea had any sort of title challenge, then I think today it absolutely disappeared.
They're not careful enough with Leeds. Leeds as in Leads, and 2-0 up against Leeds, LEEDS, and they didn't get the job done. What do they need to do like Arsenal have done so often, certainly in the first half of the season? 1-0's enough. Because today it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough against Leeds. Hasn't been enough against Bournemouth. And I know you're talking about they've nearly got maximum points, but they're not picking up maximum points in games at home that they should be winning.
Well, I honestly think the biggest problem is defensively.
Yeah.
They got talent going forward. And it is going to be difficult when you're up against 11 men behind the ball. And it doesn't always work out. But if you have a solid back line that doesn't give much away, then this is a game that you win 1-0. You know, and sometimes to win the title, sometimes you got to win 1-0. Sometimes it's not your day going forward. But if you're solid defensively, then even in those days where things are not quite clicking up front, you know that you're giving nothing away. And you know that it's only going to take one. You can't say that about Chelsea. No. They absolutely are not quite sure what's happening defensively. And I'd have to say, I think a lot of this is down to not just Liam Rosenior, but I think Maresca was a little bit the same. The chopping and changing of the back four is constant. And if you have a problem defending, the one thing that is not going to help it is constantly chopping and changing it. So, you know, in some ways, this is Chelsea's own fault. But in other ways, the fact is, I really don't think they have a back four that is capable of doing what Arsenal certainly did at the start of the season in terms of defending. So if you're going to have one of those days where you can't, with all the possession, you can't create a load of chances and score a load of goals, then you're always going to be on the edge. It's just going to be a mistake or a red card or just a silly challenge in the box. You know, you're on the edge, and you don't want to be on the edge. You want to be in a position of control. And Chelsea defensively are not in a position of control. And again, it came back and bit them on the backside today.
Everton and Sunderland have conceded fewer goals than Chelsea this season. That just illustrates your point. Next up, you mentioned Arsenal away. Then they've got to go to Aston Villa as well. And they've got the FA Cup tie at Wrexham, but then Newcastle, Man City coming up soon as well. We know pretty much for sure that the top five are going to get Champions League. Somebody's going to miss out, whether it's Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, or Villa. Are you worried that it might be Chelsea?
I wouldn't say that. I'm more worried that it's Liverpool, to be honest. I'm sorry, I've got my red glasses on, but
take them off.
I'm more worried that Liverpool's a team that's going to miss out. But at the same time, it's very difficult to, with any real conviction, turn around and say it's going to be one team or the other. I do think that Liverpool, Chelsea, possibly Man United, it's going to be one of those three. But I think right now, the way all the teams are playing, I mean, Villa got a point today, which probably hurts them more in terms of any chance they had of winning the title than being in the top 4 or 5, because I think Villa will make the top 5. So I think right now, those three sides I talked about, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, I think Man United are probably in the better position just because they're playing week to week. They have no midweek games, no Champions League, no FA Cup, no Carabao. I mean, they're just going week to week. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been on such a good run as well. And there's no reason why that can't continue. So that leaves Chelsea and Liverpool for me. Both sides a little bit the same, to be quite honest. As I'm talking about Chelsea defensively, I mean, Liverpool are in exactly the same position. I having to make changes because of injuries. Chelsea making changes because they fancy it. But at the end of the day, neither of them are convincing from that point of view. And both of them, as capable as they can be, you're not quite sure that they're going to blow teams away up front either. So I think right now, Chelsea and Liverpool are the one of the two, for me, are going to miss out.